Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Destiny's Princess, a war story, a love story, on Kotaro Fuma's route. We are on Chapter 6, Punish My Heaven. And to be honest, I have to say this so nobody gets disappointed the way Hanbei's route disappointed us, but I'm beginning to suspect that Kotaro might actually be a traitor, and I think I said in the last episode that maybe that was somehow kind of a plan. Like, maybe, I'm sure he could have found a way to sneak back into the castle if he wanted to, but I think he was planning all that to get the princess to show him the secret way into the castle because he's going to betray them. And I don't know why he would do this, but I think maybe that rumor about him abandoning his past master and being a traitor might actually be true. But then maybe he'll give up his traitorous ways for me and we'll have a good ending, I hope, because we've been having so much fun with him. I don't want you to be a traitor, Kotaro. Well, let's see where Chapter 6 takes us. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. Day by day, my handmaid's face became paler. Uh-oh. Did you hear it again yesterday? Yes, I'm so scared. Oh yeah, and I am also beginning to suspect that Kotaro pickpocketed my dagger and gave me a fake one that just looks like it. We definitely haven't heard it talking lately. I see. This is so troubling. The moaning voice that started echoing out of nowhere. The people in the castle were being tormented night after night by the voice. So, it's coming from the underground after all. Yes, shall I escort you to your room? Okay. In addition to being surrounded by demons, the mood in the castle got dark these past few days. Everyone is saying that it's the ghost of one of the fallen men or the curse of a demon. I see. I wish we could call a Buddhist monk to exorcise it. The closest temple was destroyed by the demons. Without exterminating the demons, well... That was right. That was the reason we couldn't hold a proper burial service for the deceased. Also, only the vassals had heard the dreadful voice from the underground. The voice got bigger every day. Apparently, it had started echoing in the stairwell. I felt bad for them as they became more fatigued day after day. Can they go sleep somewhere else? I think I'd go sleep outside if it was bothering me that much. So, that's our problem. Can't we do anything about it, Father?
Even if you ask me that.
Nobunaga yawned behind his folding fan.
We can't see it, so swords and spears won't do a thing.
That's true, but... I feel so bad for the frightened people and vassals. Even if it doesn't solve the problem, you could order the vassals to search this place.
Leave it alone.
What? Why? Huh? I didn't understand what he'd said, and blankly opened my mouth. Nobunaga repeated himself.
I told you to leave it alone. The moaning voice isn't coming to attack us, so what harm is it doing?
It's fatiguing our men. Also, it could actually be a demon nearby that could become a problem. We should be proactive.
If the people don't have enough guts to endure the voice, they won't live very long. Comrades like that are as good as dead.
Oh, Nobunaga. You're supposed to be a better strategist than that. Father! I shouted without thinking. Don't speak like that about the citizens and vassals who followed you all these years.
I couldn't care less.
Because they're not really his, and he knows it? Nobunaga folded his fan up and smirked.
I wasn't the one those people were following, isn't that right?
Father? What was the meaning of this? The way he'd said it made it sound like he knew he'd been summoned to this world. He probably does. Father, what did you just say?
Leave.
Without answering me, Nobunaga smiled and spoke.
There's no need for us to talk any longer. Leave.
I was thrown out without anyone to rely on. I stood in the hallway confused. Does Nobunaga know the truth? I think so. That I'd summoned them from another world and that they'd been given fake memories? I'm beginning to think it might not even be against their will, like maybe they were offered this chance in their own worlds and took it. Maybe Nobunaga's the only one that actually retained his memories for some reason. How? I don't understand anything. The thing I didn't understand the most was Kotaro. What is Kotaro thinking? He'd invited me to go to another country and had kissed me after I'd refused. After that, Kotaro hadn't shown himself to me for a number of days. I let out a sigh and decided it was time to move forward. What? Kotaro? You ninja sneak, what are you doing? I thought I saw someone's familiar, lightly colored hair in the hallway. The figure who I thought was Kotaro quickly turned the corner and disappeared. Kotaro! I jogged over and immediately turned the corner, but he wasn't anywhere to be seen. The only thing there was a scroll hanging on the wall at the end of the hallway. Check behind the scroll! There might be a secret passage. I looked into the adjacent room, but he wasn't there either. Was I seeing things? Now that I thought about it, my family's secret passage did connect to the wall scroll. Well, there you go. Maybe he'd used it because I taught him about it when we'd gone outside the other day. Aren't these actually kind of the same thing? But the correct choice is, I must have been seeing things. I'm sure I was just seeing things, I mumbled to myself. I mean, I told him we could only use it that one time. Kotaro had even nodded and smiled. Yeah, that's not a promising response. I looked at the passage's opening with mixed feelings. We should have checked, shouldn't we? Well, even if we checked, he'd probably be hiding and we would never see him anyway. I helped out around the castle, doing what I could, and returned to my room. I was alone and kept thinking about Kotaro. He's being a jerk now. I took the small box with the pretty paper on it from the shelf that held my favorite things. I opened the lid and looked at the multicolored stones, the treasures Kotaro had given me. How pretty.
You should throw your social status away. You should come with me.
I should have taken his hand that time. Too late now, sister. I really did want to go with him. I wanted to leave this castle where I had no blood relatives. I wanted to live with Kotaro. But I couldn't. The maids' and vassals' faces kept popping into my head. I couldn't leave them while they were being tormented by demons. I couldn't do that. Oh. I noticed something had made my cheeks red. Why won't he come? I didn't think he was mad that time. He'd done something like that and disappeared. It was rude of him not to come see me anymore. I was lonely without Kotaro. I'd figured that out in the few days we hadn't met. I felt like I had a gaping hole in my chest. When did I start liking Kotaro this much? You're so quiet lately. I wiped my tears and called out to the dagger. I really wanted to talk to someone. He'd kept talking to me when no one was around, but recently he'd been completely quiet. Although the small demon in the dagger was whimsical and didn't answer my questions, that was why I didn't really think about it. You should listen to me sometimes. Please talk to me. However, the dagger stayed silent. Is it unable to speak now? As I'd thought, there was no reply. I took the dagger out from my bosom and unsheathed it. Hey! The blade reflected white light. Huh? I stared at the handle closely. It was a little different from the dagger in my memories. I realized that the pattern on the handle was different, and the fitting was oddly off. It looked very similar, but this wasn't my dagger. This can't be! Since when? My heart made an awful sound. It can't be. Were they switched? But for what reason? Even if they'd been switched, only a few people could have done it. I only took it off when I entered the bath. It had to have been the maid who did everything for me, or the person in charge of the bath. No, there was one more person. Kotaro. He might have been able to switch them when I was sleeping. But I would have woken up if he'd switched something on my chest. Maybe not. He could have just been that smooth. It was like I was trying to convince myself. Plus, that's right, he didn't have any reason to... I could understand it if he'd taken the entire dagger. It was a treasure and worth a fortune. But if he just took the dagger, that meant he might have known about its secret. Kotaro might have seen me speaking to the dagger before. Princess! I panicked when I heard the handmaid's voice and put the fake dagger in my bosom. Come in. My door opened and the handmaid came in. I bought your dinner. Thanks. She laid the food tray down like always. She then started laughing, as if she'd remembered something. Now that I think about it, the maids have been sulking. Sir Fuma's clothes were stained with blood again. Kotaro's clothes were? Yes, they said he didn't visit them or show them any new performances. So they're disgruntled that they had to wash his clothes without any reward. Oh, my apologies. I shouldn't have brought that up right before dinner. No, it's okay. More importantly, you said it was stained with blood, right? Yes, I did. Why? But I don't think there have been any noticeable skirmishes lately. Oh, now that you bring it up, you might be right. She tilted her head. Well, Sir Fuma is a ninja after all. He might have bumped heads with a demon mid-patrol. You're right. She said that, but something seemed strange to me. Plus, I talked to the handmaid about Kotaro's clothes being stained with blood before. That was right. It was when I'd been hanging the laundry. Kotaro had showed up to help and had said,
"Oh, princess, it looks like you dropped this."
So she remembered. I would have said, could that have been when it happened, because I'm pretty sure that's when it happened, but I must say no, it couldn't be. I could never believe that about my precious Kotaro. No, it couldn't be. I desperately tried to shake off the idea that he'd switched the daggers that time. But the more I thought about it, I started to think that that could have been the only time. Plus, Kotaro had said something strange right after that. When I'd felt down, he told me he could trick me because he was a ninja. Kotaro, it can't be. Princess? The handmaid tilted her head again after hearing me. No, it's nothing. Nothing. As I said that to her, I was thinking about something completely different. I had to find Kotaro by any means possible. After I finished eating, I left my room with a torch in hand. I was curious about the hallway Kotaro had disappeared in. I lifted the wall scroll up and turned the switch. The hidden door opened up. I entered the passage, and it was chilly inside. This is a creepy looking passage. It's awfully dark in here. I have to make sure I don't get lost. The passage was like a small maze. I felt like I'd heard there were traps in here as well, so I had to be cautious. It wouldn't have been a problem if I used the path I always took, but I was searching for someone. How in the world do I think I'm actually going to find someone down here in this maze? After I'd aimlessly walked around for a while. Wah! Huh? I heard a moaning coming from somewhere. Was this the voice the handmaid and the others were talking about? It was a dreadful voice. It was hoarse and evoked fear from deep in my chest. But ghosts can't speak. How would you know? It was a frightening voice, but it did sound like it was coming from something with a body. Moreover, it was probably a demon's voice. It sounded like a voice I'd heard up close before. Did a demon slip into the passageway? The entrances had complicated switches, and one needed to press many things to open them. Wah! Oh. The moaning paused for a moment and continuously echoed in the hallways. Maybe I should go back and call for Yukimura. When I thought that, I heard a different voice.
But I told you I don't care. We don't know unless we heard it some more, right?
Kotaro's voice?
Yes, but it might die if we continue. I don't care if it dies. There are an endless amount of replacements.
I didn't know what to do, but I steadily walked towards Kotaro's voice. I turned 2 corners, and the moaning got louder.
You are too soft. Move aside.
His voice was different than it normally was. It was stricter. What in the world are they? I could see light beyond the corner. I turned the corner and swallowed my breath as I witnessed what was happening before me. It was chained to an unrefined stone wall. A demon was hanging there. Its hands were chained, and weights were put on its legs. Its skin was dyed vermilion, just like the night the castle had fallen. However, it wasn't someone else's blood. There were small needle-like injuries all over the demon's skin. The blood made a black sticky puddle by its feet. It gave off a foul stench. I could tell one of its eyes was gouged out, and half of its ear was cut off.
Who goes there?
I was petrified and shivered as Kotaro spoke to me. Kotaro put down his blood-stained sword and slowly turned around. He looked at me and smiled.
Oh, it's you, Princess Saya.
It was his usual innocent smile. He was stained with the demon's blood. I was speechless. Why is it stopping there? What's going to happen? Is he going to threaten me, or is he going to try to pull me into the dark side of his torturous interrogation? Well, we'll find out in the next episode. Oh, Kotaro, what have you been doing? Oh, I guess that's why Nobunaga told me to let it go, because he probably knows what's going on, right? He probably sanctioned this action. And of course, being the compassionate person that we are as Saya, we're probably going to say, no, stop torturing the demon, that's not right. We'll have to give him mercy killing. Well, I hope to see you in my future videos. I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye-bye, everybody.